Some people are actually angry at Lieutenant Yerima. They're saying the soldiers should be suspended for two main reasons. One, Wike represented the government, and obstructing him was basically obstructing the law. And me and nobody is above the law. Two, we have to realize that Yerima was only just following orders. And yes, today you like the order, tomorrow it may not really favor you. It may screw you over. They tell that soldier to prevent you from protesting, like during EndSARS. He won't. Same uniform, same obedience, different effect. So these are their points, and while these points may seem like they make sense, they are ideal word thinking. A type of thinking that assumes everything is fair, everything is logical, everything is equal, rainbows and unicorns. But Nigeria is none of these things, is it? The concepts of law, order, and morality only hold meaning when they are based on equality. If you're someone who is very big on having morals, it is quite tempting to always view things as either right or wrong. But the thing with right or wrong is they are not absolutes, they are quite subjective. Take killing, for example. Killing is wrong if it is murder, but if a judge passes an order, killing is right. So the real question is, what is your morality based on? What are the factors that determine when something is right or wrong to you? Let's look at it this way. In football, FIFA determines what is right and what is wrong. So let's say FIFA were to wake up tomorrow and say, no more offside rule. And you are to say, no, I must do what is right. I must play by the offside rule. My brother, you're not being moral, you're being rigid. You're giving yourself limitations that don't exist anymore simply because your mind hasn't updated. So now back to soldiers. We've agreed, soldiers, they follow orders. So basically, we cannot call them moral agents, For the sake of this video, they're basically tools, like a cutlass. Cutlass, it can harvest crops, it can also harvest destinies depending on who is holding it. So now we trust these tools in the hands of the government because we assume that they will be fair. What happens when fairness sparks a load and relocates to Canada? What happens when the people making these rules do not follow them? What happens when the process is broken but you still want to be moral and follow the process? At that point, are you being righteous or are you just a slave to the system? When laws become unjust, blindly following them becomes immoral. Because there are people who actually had their land taken. We didn't hear about them, They probably went to court and nothing happened. Because they do not have these powers, they do not have this connection, they do not have these tools. You're trying to tell me that if you had those tools, and somebody came to you trying to take something that belongs to you, they come with the laws that they themselves do not follow, you would drop your own tools in the name of rightness. It's like that old story of the monk and the cat. A monk tied a cat to a pole every evening so the cat wouldn't disturb his evening prayers. After he died, the younger monks kept tying the cat because, that's how it's done. And when the cat died, they couldn't pray because, how could you pray without a cat? So they went and bought a new cat and then they started praying. They forgot the reason and worshipped the process. And that's many of you. You've turned the process into a religion and forgotten the actual purpose. Following a broken process just because it is the process, it's not discipline, it is not righteousness, there's no morality. See, rules and laws, they only really work when there is equality. And for your morality, well, when it doesn't align with reality, it really doesn't make sense.